Hello, and welcome to this video tutorial for A Helping Hand. In this activity, you will guide your students through some basic algebra, but don't worry, your math knowledge will be sufficient for this activity. Let's first discuss motivation for your students in A Helping Hand. A natural disaster strikes. Imagine no electricity, no cell phones, no running water, no natural gas. The roads are impassable by car, and no one knows when help will arrive. It's up to you to use your reasoning skills to protect your community until help arrives. At the community meeting, everyone agrees that everyone will need 6 items to hold out for help to arrive: meals, flashlights, first aid kits, jackets, radios, and water tanks. One problem: there aren't enough of these in your town. You've been given the mission of traveling to a neighboring town to find out how much these supplies will cost in US dollars. There's a catch. The neighboring town uses rupees, not US dollars. There's no internet or calculators, so it's up to you to ask around and piece together clues to determine how much each of these items cost in US dollars. Your town is counting on you. Okay. Now that we've hopefully gotten our students excited about solving these problems, let's look at the clues they will be given and think about how we, as mentors, might guide our students to discovery. The remainder of this video will focus on how you would guide your students through clue number 1. The second video will focus on the math for clues 2 through 9, and video 3 will discuss the larger problem we want our students to solve. So without further ado, let's jump into clue number 1. So for this clue, or for all these clues actually, what you're going to do for this activity is you're going to hand your group of 2 to 4 students at your table. So if you have 7 students at your table, maybe have a group of 3 students and a group of 4 students, and you're going to hand each of them one of these clues, depending on where you think they should start, their mathematical proficiency, and where you think that you have like a good idea on helping your students. So tell them that they are walking around in this new town and they hear 2 people agree to trade 12 jackets for 27 flashlights. So that corresponds to the hint that the students are given here. And then ask them, okay, so which of these 2 are cheaper? Discuss this amongst yourselves and write down your reasoning. Depending on your co-mentoring style, you may want to have each mentor stick with each group at your table and help guide this conversation. Ask open-ended guiding questions. For example, if a student volunteers an answer immediately, reward their participation by providing positive reinforcement, such as good idea, or this is a good starting point, or very good, or thanks, or good work, or good job, something like that. But then follow it up with a but why. Can you explain how you came to this conclusion? Or could you help me understand why this is the answer? Or could you draw a picture explaining your reasoning? Can anyone help me see that this is the answer, etc.? If your group seems stuck before beginning, a helpful observation you can make as a mentor is, isn't 3 times 4 12, and isn't 3 times, times 9, 27? Shouldn't it be true that 1/3 of however many, 1/3 as many jackets are worth 1/3 as many flashlights? So since 12 is equal to 3 times 4, and 27 is equal to 3 times 9, 4 times the price of jackets must be equal to 9 times the price of flashlights. You might want to decide on a letter or a symbol to use in order to facilitate this conversation, but don't rely solely on algebraic expressions for your students to understand the problem, as some of them in 6th grade say this will be incredibly foreign to them and it may not be helpful for them understanding this problem. You can see here that they have, or that there are pictures which represent the prices of that object. or units of that object. And so you can talk about it that way. Another way that might be helpful is writing down or drawing pictures. Let's see, so once you've talked to your students and told them about 4 jackets being equal to about 9 flashlights, this will give them a smaller number of items to work with, which might be more amenable to drawing pictures. Or write down some other relation for your students that will model what you'd like them to do. So if J is the price of jackets and L is the price of flashlights, then we have 4J is equal to 9L is maybe not as accessible for some of our students. Or maybe you could start with 12J is equal to 27L and ask your students if maybe they could simplify this if they're comfortable with equations and letters to represent the prices or number of units of a particular item. Okay, another way that you could approach this, though, that might be helpful is if you write down pictures, or if you draw pictures, or have your students draw pictures to represent maybe 4 jackets are worth 9 flashlights. 6, is that right? 7, 8, 9. And so now they have, they can see the quantities in front of them, and maybe then you could ask other questions or use this sort of reasoning. But overall, I think what we want our students to realize is that the price of a jacket is 9/4 the price of a flashlight, if this is the sort of bartering or trading that's going on. Feel free to use your creativity in maybe guiding your students to this discovery, but this, along with several other relations or ratios, will be useful in the coming problems. Okay, that's it for clue number 1. We'll be talking about clues number 2 through 9 in the next video. Until then, arrivederci.